Hello, hello, and today we are breaking down the 4 specific changes you absolutely must make in order to earn your betrayed spouse's trust back after you were caught cheating. Now, before we get into that, if you have not already subscribed, subscribe now because you do not want to miss out on all of the content and information that I am putting out on a regular basis. If you have not liked the video, I don't know if you like it yet. You don't know if you like it yet, but if you do, make sure you like the video to show that support. I am still growing the channel to reach as many people as possible to help them impact their lives as much as possible. And so let's get right on into it. The 4 changes, starting with number 1, discovering the root causes of your cheating and addressing them with dedicated action. Now, this is absolutely important because realizing that cheating didn't just happen is very important to your betrayed spouse. Not simplifying it, not downplaying it, not that you are intentionally doing that, but when your spouse says, well, I just did it for attention, I just did it for dopamine, or I didn't know it, it just happened, right? You realizing there are deeper issues, patterns, and insecurities that led you to choose the option of cheating, okay? So something got you to the point where there was an option of cheating, and your betrayed spouse wants to know how you got to that point, okay? Because realize this, if you don't know why you cheated, or if you only know at a very surface level, your spouse will never feel safe. And if they never feel safe, they will never trust you again. And a big reason why is because if you don't know why you did something, how can you stop yourself from doing it again? Here's an example. If I stole money from you and you caught me and I told you I was very sorry and that I know what I've done is very wrong and I'm never going to do it again. I don't know why I did it. I mean, I needed money, but I don't know why I stole it. And if you were to ask me, okay, well, how come you didn't just ask me? And I were to tell you, well, I don't know. I just didn't. I just stole it, but I know that I'll never do it again. And if you ask me, well, okay, well, what happens if you need money again? Are you going to ask me or are you going to steal it again? I mean, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I just know that I'm not going to, right? And so that alone right there doesn't sound very reassuring. And so your spouse knows this and feels this, okay? And so what it is for you to do is to identify the root causes, which are anger, lying patterns, resentment, abandonment wounds, loneliness, emotional disconnection, avoidance, escaping instead of dealing with problems, which is like escapism, okay? And upon discovering your issues that led you to that option to choose to cheat, it is you taking the dedicated action upon being very resourceful and taking the initiative to heal, fix, recover, change those direct issues. Because what a lot of unfaithful spouses do is they begin to change only the way they treat their spouse. They don't treat the actual cause for the infidelity. They treat the infidelity recovery with behaving differently with their spouse by treating them better, showing them more attention, taking them out more, being more affectionate, these kinds of things. But here's the thing about change, because that's what we're here for, is true change. And how true change is actually done is in 2 ways. Big impact and repetition. That's how you actually change. Big impact and repetition. Impactful moments and actions done consistently over time. Okay? And when you create or act upon a certain exercise, action, for the sake of healing, changing, recovering, a very impactful moment is something that perhaps you've never done before, something you've never experienced before, and it has this heightened sense of emotion that's attached to it. It's a very memorable event that's occurred in your life, that registers to your brain as very important. And when those events register to your brain as very important, your brain has to make sense of why you've done those things. And since you are the one that is creating the reason and the intention behind your actions, your brain is going, oh, this is why you are doing those things. And your brain will begin to change its thought forms and your identity, because it goes, why did he or she do this? What does this mean? They've never done this before. They were very sad before and then very happy after. What does this all mean? Oh, this is what this means. And so let's make sure that the way that they think, the way that they feel, what they do, their identity matches this new person. Okay? And then on the other hand, small events done consistently over time, you build new habits, you build a new identity. That's how you actually change. You rewire your brain and body to do so. Okay, let's move on to number 2, learning to communicate in a way that builds trust. Okay, realizing that action matters the most, but if your actions and your words do not align, your partner will not feel safe. Say what you do and do what you say. They must align. Okay? Communication equals trust. Okay? Here's what they need from you: compassion, empathy, understanding, transparency, responsibility, and honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Okay? When you are compassionate, empathetic, and understanding, think of it like this: whatever your partner is feeling, whatever they are thinking, whether they are right or not, whether you agree or you don't, whether you fully understand or you don't, it's okay. Whatever they're thinking, whatever they are feeling, it's okay. Right? Getting on that level as to where you put yourself in their shoes and you go, how would I react? How would I respond? What would I do if I was them? Right? And getting on that same page as to where they do not feel judged or criticized or like they can't speak their mind, right? And transparency, right? That's you just letting it all out, not holding anything back, letting all truth out, especially when you feel like they're going to judge you or criticize you, or you're going to have some kind of negative feedback, but it is your truth, right? That's what they require. The responsibility is, even responsibility in telling the truth is you taking the initiative to tell the truth proactively, not waiting for your partner to extract it from you, to pull it out of you. And they keep asking you and drilling you and drilling you. That's the last thing that your betrayed spouse needs, because they begin to feel like, well, I have to force you to be honest, and you can't be honest on your own. So show them that you can be honest even when it's uncomfortable, because when you communicate with empathy about their recovery, it creates safety, which builds trust. And so it's not easy to be compassionate, understanding, and patient with your betrayed spouse, especially when they're saying things that are hurting your feelings, saying things that are angering you, saying things or doing things that are upsetting you. It's not so easy to be compassionate and understanding in those moments, but that is when it is the most important. Okay? Because when these things happen, like when you avoid conversations, get defensive, or show a lack of effort, it signals to them that you're not fully remorseful, or there's a part of you that believes that what you did wasn't wrong. They believe, or they can begin to believe, that you're not really truly sorry about what you've done, plus you still don't think what you've done was wrong. Or there's a part of you that thinks what you've done was okay or justified in some way. And if they think deep down inside that there's a part of you that believes that what you've done wasn't wrong, then what's to stop you from doing it again if you don't believe it was wrong? And I'm sure you get that what you've done was wrong, but you see, underneath it all, that's what it communicates. And so I'll take this opportunity to talk about understand, validate, and resolve, which is what I teach and coach in the Never Cheat Again transformation group, which is a group that I am in Monday through Friday with a library of media of how to never cheat again, how to learn everything that we are going into today, I'm going to leave all of the information below, but this goes into communication where we learn to understand our partner, validate our partner, and resolve conversations. And this is very important because this is what happens when our partner continues to ask us the same questions again and again and again. And we don't know why they don't get our answers. And that is because there's a lot that still doesn't make sense to them, because they don't feel like they understand you, they don't feel understood, and nothing will ever get resolved from there. And so what they will continue to do is ask you the same questions, say the same things, until they feel like you finally understand. And it isn't until you understand or they feel understood as to where they feel validated, and things will not get resolved if we do not get to that point. Okay? But what happens also is when we learn to communicate effectively, our communication goes out the window the moment we lose our temper, which leads to number 3, emotional control. Your emotional control is one of the biggest signs of whether or not you can be trusted. If you lose control when you're upset, you will not be able to communicate effectively. If you get angry, defensive, irritated, or shut down, your spouse will not believe you've truly changed. And this is why emotional control is tied directly to trust. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. When we are inconsistent, even in the way that we handle our emotions, okay? And so when we talk about trust, let's talk about stability, and that's very much linked, because what's stable can be trusted, correct? Here's an example that I have for you. Which person are you going to trust? If the building was on fire and a person comes out and they're waving their hands all crazy in the air and going around panicking, going, "Oh my God, the building's on fire, the building's on fire. Everybody this way, follow me, come on, ah." And then you have another person who comes out and is very patient and says, "Hey, everybody, relax. The building is on fire. Please remain patient. I know the exact way to get out. Follow me." Who you're going to believe? The person who is grounded, the person who has control of their emotions. And that communicates so many things, because your partner knows that when you become emotional, that is when you start to make those decisions. When you become emotional, when you become angry, when you become those ways, that is when you can go to your old ways. That is when your partner does not know what's going through your mind. Your partner does not know what you were about to do. That is when you shut down. That is right. And it raises so much uncertainty, and it damages the trust building. And it just creates this gap between the both of you, an emotional gap. And that gap, that the emotions, the connection, the emotional connection with your betrayed, with your partner, with your spouse, with the love of your life, is very important, because you could be saying and doing all of the right things on paper, but if they don't feel it, it's not going to work. Which leads to number 3, rebuilding the relationship itself. This is the part that most couples overlook. Your relationship cannot stay the same after infidelity, and honestly, it shouldn't. This is what everybody wants. I just want things to go back to the way they were. But if things went back to the way they were, that would only signal the same things are going to happen. Correct? And so what we must do is recreate the relationship from the ground up in every way that meets both of your needs, feels fulfilling emotionally, mentally, and physically, aligns with who you want to become and how you want your lives to be, and what feels safe and secure for your partner. And so reestablishing your relationship, the foundations of your relationship, because everything that was has been torn down. And now it is a recreation process in any and all ways possible, because the goal is for the both of you to be stronger, wiser, more skilled, closer, right? More loving, more trusting, stronger, everything. Okay? You both want to personally be better than you've ever been, and your relationship to be better than it's ever been. Right now is the time to look at your relationship and go, what have we been struggling? Where are our weaknesses? Where are our strengths? Where did we go wrong? What could we do better? And recreating it. And when you do this, it signals so much change, not just from the unfaithful, but for the relationship in its entirety. Your relationship is different. Not only you are different, but your relationship is different, meaning the way you relate, the way you behave, the way you interact with each other, what you do. Okay, so restructuring your relationship, a great way that I do this and what I teach in the group transformation, Never Cheat Again group, is the 12 pillars of every relationship. Now, this is something that you can do on your own with your spouse, where you evaluate the top pillars of your relationship that are responsible for all of the results. And you go through those pillars and you score them individually, separately, on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the highest and best, 1 is the lowest and worst. And you go through these areas and score them separately, and then afterwards compare them. And it shows you how you both truly feel about these areas of your relationship. And you can also compare the scores and go, wow, I didn't know you felt that way about this area of our relationship. Or, you know what? I didn't notice that that part of our relationship was in that much trouble. And so what you can do is take a look at it, evaluate it, compare it, discuss it, and plan for how to improve these areas. And you can start with the lower scoring areas, because when it comes to rebuilding trust, yes, you must rebuild yourself, but rebuilding the relationship as much as possible. And the pillars are as follows: stability, communication, trust, romance, growth, partnership, connection, fun, physical intimacy, finances, social life, and family life. And yes, you can do this with your partner and talk about it and find that, hey, you know what? We want to add some pillars, or we want to change the pillar. Hey, go ahead. These are the ones that I use, but feel free to add or modify if you'd like. But main thing is, make sure that you do it, because the couples who do this, who actually do this, get those results. And that's where you want to get to, where the both of you, but the both of you are doing above and beyond. That's what it is, because the more you put in, the more you get back. So if you want to learn how to confidently apply these 4 changes and fully transform your identity so that you can rebuild trust, inside my Never Cheat Again transformation group, I teach all of this in depth with step-by-step lessons, a full content library, and live group coaching with me Monday through Friday. Inside this coaching program, you will discover and heal the root causes behind your cheating. Learn to develop communication skills that rebuild trust. Develop emotional control that makes your spouse feel safe. Rebuild your relationship dynamics so both partners' needs are met. Transform your identity into someone who does not cheat, lie, escape, or self-sabotage. You receive daily support and live coaching Monday through Friday, and you become that person your partner can believe in again. This program is for the unfaithful who wants to stop cheating permanently, the person who knows they must change their identity, not just their behavior, someone whose spouse is struggling to trust them again, anyone ready to face their shame, do the work, and rebuild the trust the right way, individuals or partners who want to rebuild their relationship stronger than before. A big reason why this program works is you do not just learn what to do, you learn how to become a different person. You discover the origin of your cheating patterns. You rewire your identity through action, accountability, emotional regulation, and communication. You rebuild the relationship instead of repeating the same cycles. You get daily coaching, not just once a week therapy. You are supported, guided, corrected, and held accountable in real time. This is the most complete transformation system available for the unfaithful spouse. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have not already, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Michael J. Fit here, Infidelity Recovery Specialist, wishing you a happy recovery that leads to you getting everything you've ever wanted. I'll see you next time.